you can still get into college without any AP classes, any test scores, or a perfect GPA. Trust me. Hi there, I'm Rachel. I've recently just went through the college application process. I posted my college decision reaction video. You can check it out here. And I've been getting DMs and comments asking me what my stats were, so this is the video for it. I feel like I see a lot of videos on YouTube of people sharing how they got into Ivy Leagues and just prestigious schools, but not a lot for more average students. So I hope you can relate to this and just have a little hope in the college application process, because it really isn't as bad and you don't have to be a genius to get into college. I'll try to cover as much as possible in this video, but if I do miss something, my DMs are open, or you can leave a comment and I'll definitely respond to you. So yeah, let's get started. So in total, I applied to 14 schools. 3 of them were UC schools, 2 of them were Cal States, and the rest of them are just a normal common application process. If you're not familiar with UCs and Cal States, it's basically just 2 different school systems in the state of California, and they have their own application portal and everything. So it's kind of like a different process. I'll have a little section for that later in the video, so you can skip around and watch whatever you think will be helpful for you. The 3 UCs I applied to are UCLA, UCSD, and UCI. The 2 Cal States are SDSU and Cal State Long Beach. The rest of the schools I applied to are USC, Bentley University, High Point University, Northeastern University, Finney School, Pacific Lutheran University, Menlo College, Wheaton College, Massachusetts, and University of Washington. So for most of these schools, I applied for a business major, and if I could, I would have specified as a marketing major. Just a disclaimer though, just because I got rejected from these schools does not mean you're going to get rejected if you have similar stats as me. The college application review process is like very different for each school and each candidate, and I'm pretty sure this year for the class of 25 there was like a record-breaking amount of applicants for a lot of these schools, and there was some sort of birth spike or whatever where there just was a huge pool of applicants this year, so don't get discouraged. I forgot to mention my demographics, but basically I'm a woman, Asian ethnicity, middle class household income, United States citizen, so I'm not an international student. I think that's it. On to the courses that I took throughout high school. I kind of had an irregular progress of high school. I'll explain as I go. So freshman year of high school, I went to an international school in Hong Kong. They don't do weighted GPA, and for freshmen at least, they don't have honors classes or anything like that. So for freshman year, I had a 3.93 unweighted GPA. Sorry if I'm looking over here, I'm reading off my transcript. But the classes that I took were English 9, Foundations of Faith, Geometry, European Studies, Foundations of Biochem and Physics, PE, Ceramics, Introduction to Media Production, and French 1. I got a B+ in Geometry and French second semester. This was when COVID hit again and everything went online and my teacher got fired. And then sophomore year I went to boarding school, and this is a kind of complicated situation because they made me repeat a grade. They kind of treated me like an international student, and I found out that they do this to a lot of Asian students where they make them repeat a grade. I had like countless meetings with different faculty and school members where they were telling me that they were gonna let me skip a grade in the year after and all of that. But for my second year of high school, I had to repeat English and history. So the classes that I took are English 9 honors, Humanities 9, Algebra 2 honors, French 2, Biology honors, Health and Human Flourishing, Ceramics, Introduction to Videography, and PE. I definitely don't think like taking English 9 2 times in a row looks good on my application. I don't know, but my school made me retake it. And for sophomore year, I have a 3.9 GPA since I did get a B+ in French again. And an A- in Algebra 2 honors. Doing French like online asynchronous was very hard for me. Never again. And then for junior year, I went to the same boarding school, but whatever they promised me earlier in the year saying how they would let me skip a grade didn't work out, which in my junior year started to create some problems for me because when I start to register for classes, they didn't let me choose the classes that I originally have planned for myself in my 4-year plan, especially AP classes. They didn't let me take them. I went through a whole process asking them like to please let me take it and like showing them that I have the prerequisites to do these classes, but they just didn't let me do it and didn't let me register for the classes. So that's how I ended up with 0 AP classes throughout my high school career, but I still got into college, so it's whatever. They also didn't let me register for the SAT, so I didn't take the SAT or the ACT, so I didn't submit any test scores for any of the schools either. But for the classes that I took my junior year is English 10, Humanities 10, because, well, and then I took pre-calculus honors, anatomy and physiology, chemistry, 3D studies, graphic design, and PE. The rest of the classes I think were pretty normal. They're all very basic and average, nothing special, but this year I did ace all of my classes. So I got a 4.05 GPA. And then for my senior year of high school, I left my boarding school and went to community college instead. And the community college that I'm in right now, they have this program where you just have to take the remaining credits that you need to complete a high school diploma for that state and you can graduate. So that's what I did. I took some college classes that can also fulfill my high school credits and got my high school diploma. In this community college, they do a quarter system, so I was able to submit my grades for the first quarter, and for the rest of the quarters I submitted like in progress classes. So for the grades that I did submit, I took Business 101, English 101, and a liberal arts course that's mandatory. I did get straight A's for these 3 classes, so I had a 4.0 GPA submitting. And for the in progress classes that I submitted, it was English 102, Math 146, which is statistics, and Political Science 202, which is US government, which all satisfies what I need for my high school diploma. And then for spring quarter, I said that I was gonna take communications and microeconomics, I think. I wasn't able to register for those classes, so I'm like taking completely different classes now, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, that's all the courses that I took in high school. Sorry, I know my situation is a little bit different, but overall I just wanted to say that I like didn't take any like crazy classes. I really just took the bare minimum of what you need to complete high school. So yeah, if you have the opportunity to go take those AP classes and you know that you can do good in those classes, like obviously take them, and also research your college, because some colleges, they have a list of like classes you have to have taken in high school, or at least like they suggest you to take in high school, and take those classes if you want to go to that college, you know. Moving on to extracurricular activities. So on the Common App you can do 10 activities and 5 honors or awards, and for the UC application you can have 20 of both combined, and each activity that you list on your application has to fit a category that they provide. So let me read off my activities list. The first one is journalism/publication, videographer member in the media team of my school. This is one of the clubs at my school where like the supervisor had to approve your application and like know that you are qualified for this team to let you be on the team. Basically what I did was film footage for school events and edit promotional or highlight videos for the school's social media. Second activity was an internship. I was a media intern for this online school program where I basically designed and edited lecture videos for students in the online school program to like watch, and throughout the internship I provided like comments and things to better the whole entire program, and I did this over the summer. The third thing that I listed is also an internship. It was a social media intern. I interned at this place that I volunteered at, where basically I designed posters and graphics for their social media posts to promote the store and also promote like open positions for the store. And I got this position from volunteering, so I also mentioned that I was an in-store volunteer, and then I got asked to be a social media intern, if that makes sense. The next thing that I listed was work, because I did get paid for this. I started multiple like online businesses throughout my high school years, not school affiliated. The title I put founder of multiple self-owned small businesses, and then I listed the names of the different businesses that I owned. And for the description, I said designed clothing pieces, assisted in a lot of customer service, curated website updates, and designed social media advertisements. So these are all things I did while running these different businesses, and I am a business major, so I thought this was important to put. And then the next thing was also work, because again, I did get paid for it. I put content creator on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Even though like YouTube is like my main platform for like content creating, I did get like some attention on TikTok and Instagram too, so I thought I'd put that in as well. I really hesitated whether or not I wanted to put this on my application, but like I did get paid for it and I learned a lot through collaborations and things like that. So I'm happy that I put it on there because it is like a big part of my life, I think. And then the next thing I put is club/activity. I was a member of the Bare Necessities mental health leadership team. So this was a team at my school where you have to actually like submit a leadership application and get approved to get into. And I feel like colleges don't know this because obviously it's like my school system. I just put leadership team on there just so whoever's reading my application knows that this is like something I actually like had to put in an application and interview for. And for the description, I said organize interactive events, mental health school talks, and I also put filmed and designed social media posts. If you can't tell by now, I'm trying to tie in that like there's a theme going on with all of my activities, which is social media marketing and like digital media, which is kind of my thing, like what I do and what I'm passionate about. The next thing that I put is theater/drama. The title of this was Green Room Crew Member, Hair, Makeup, and Costume Department of the Crew. So starting from here, it's kind of like getting to the miscellaneous extracurriculars that I did in high school. These are like kind of the extracurriculars that I actually did for fun or pure interest instead of like career motivated or like related to my major. For this one, I planned mood boards for the production, mentored young crew members, styled actors' hair and makeup, organized crew actor assignment. And then the next thing I put is MC and assistant member of the Maitre D leadership team. If you're not from my school, you probably don't know what that means. That's why it's like so low in the list. I was basically recruited for weekly dinner MC type of thing where I basically made announcements and cleaned up after dinners at my boarding school. This was a leadership position though, because it's also one of the things that you actually have to apply for. I didn't apply for it, I was recruited for it, so I don't know, I just put it on there. And then the next activity I put is member of the Bearcast podcast club. This was barely a club, I'm not even gonna lie. We did record podcasts and we did have like meetings and everything. It just wasn't as like established. It's still like something I did outside of class, so I put it on there anyway. And I also like edited the podcast, so it's kind of like a skill level thing as well. For the last activity is athletics. I was on the girls varsity soccer team at my school. I'm not like a hardcore athlete. I definitely did not like train since I was a little kid, but I just put that on there. It's also like pure interest. I wrote that I participated in rigorous training, mentored young kids in soccer clinics, and participated in analyzing game strategies. I feel like I kind of stretched the description a little bit because I don't really know what to write about like being on a soccer team. I was between writing my soccer team or my basketball team. Like for basketball, I was actually recruited to be in varsity in my freshman year of high school, whereas for soccer there wasn't a JV team, so being in varsity didn't really seem like a big deal. But then also like colleges don't know that we don't have a JV team, and I also did soccer for 2 years instead of 1. So but yeah, that's all my extracurriculars. And then for honors and awards, I barely had any. So I had the cum laude honor certificate in junior year. I think it was like the top 20% of your grade. And then the second one I put is the videography award. So every year in my school, the person with top grades in each class gets an award. There is no award, they just print it out on like the booklet at the end of the school year. But I did get the videography award, so I put it on there. And then for The next two, I just put head of school honor roll, 11th grade, and then I got high honor roll in 10th grade. It's just an honor roll. I don't have any awards. Okay, now for the essays. For the Common App, you can have a personal statement essay, which is 650 words, I believe. And of course, for each school, you have your supplemental essays where it's kind of like school-specific essays. In total, I wrote 14 essays. They were all like short ones though, so it's like fine. I'm not going to read my personal statement essay just because it's kind of personal. Literally only my best friend and my cousin read my personal statement essay. Question that I chose for my personal statement was, the lesson we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental to later success. Recount a time where you faced a challenge, setback, or failure. How did it affect you, and what did you learn from the experience? I chose this question, and basically my whole essay was about being vulnerable to learning. I related it to a personal experience. I did mention like the businesses that I started and how the skills of like different things apply. But yeah, I was just basically talking about my love for learning and how I was able to rekindle that while connecting it to a very personal experience. So yeah, that's my personal statement. For the UC application, it's a little bit different where you have to write 4 different PIQs, and for each of them is 350 words. Every single essay that I wrote, I like have exactly the word count, which I don't know why I like took the time to do that. The first question that I answered was, every person has a creative side. It can be expressed in many ways: problem solving, original and innovative thinking, and artistically, to name a few. Describe how you express your creative side. So for this essay, I talked about like video editing and how I discovered it and how through different experiences I grew my skill set. And the second question that I answered was, what would you say is your greatest talent or skill? How have you developed and demonstrated that talent over time? So for this one, I don't think I did a good job writing this. I only got into 1 school out of the 3 UCs I applied to, so I don't know. But for this essay, I basically wrote about giving thoughtful gifts, which I think it's like true for myself, but I don't know if it was like the best to write on a college application. But I did write about like my volunteer hours and different gifts that I've given to loved ones over time and the meaning behind all that, the joy that I find in giving. The third question that I answered was, describe how you have taken advantage of a significant educational opportunity or worked to overcome an education barrier you have faced. So for this one, I wrote about boarding school, like being able to go to boarding school. I just talked about like adjusting to this like new system and also how I learned to overcome the barriers that come with it and finding balance between like school and other things. So for my 4th PIQ, I answered the question, describe the most significant challenge you have faced and the steps you have taken to overcome this challenge. How has this challenge affected your academic achievements? I basically just took my personal statement essay and shortened it and made it a little bit more on topic. And yeah, that's the 4 PIQs that I answered. So if you watched my decisions video, you know that I committed to the new school, Parsons School of Design, and I'm going in as a strategic design and management major, which is a business major. There's a lot that went into the decision, and this is obviously like a huge life-changing decision. So I was really torn between all of the places that I got accepted to, and obviously I had schools that had bigger names. Whenever I told people I'm choosing between these schools, like, what are your thoughts? They're like, go to Northeastern or go to UCI. Those were like the more well-known schools. I'm not even kidding. I made a Google slideshow that has 40 different slides of like information of different schools and like pros and cons and photos of like the campus, the dorms, school life. I texted so many people that went to the schools that I got accepted to and like asked them how they felt about the school and everything. Oh my gosh. I texted so many people. It's not even funny. And I also took a visit to UCI actually. I actually really liked it, but after like this 1 year in Washington, I'm not gonna lie, I really miss being in a city. And personally, I thought New York City is more my scene. compared to like SoCal. So that's how I basically made my decision. Another thing that really like got into my head was I had a lot of like family friends in California and everyone was just telling me to go to UCI. And I'm saying this because I'm trying to tell you to go with your gut. And you don't have to choose a school because you feel like it will satisfy what other people think of you. I definitely felt a lot of pressure, but at last I chose Parsons and I'm so excited to be surrounded by so many talented people. And I really just hope I made the right decision. Finally, I wanted to give some tips and advice to upcoming seniors. If you're in the class of 26, listen up. I feel like everyone says, but start your application early, please. For me, I didn't think I was gonna apply to college until 2 months before everything was due because originally I was gonna go through like the community college path where I would like go to community college for 2 years and then transfer out to like whatever university. But during my first quarter, I was like, I qualified to apply as a first year and I already missed out on like the 4-year experience in high school. Maybe I would like to do the whole 4 years of college thing. And I was like, it really doesn't hurt to try, especially because if things don't work out, I can just go back to community college, you know? So in like October, I rushed all my essays and my applications and everything. It was so stressful, especially like balancing doing all that college stuff and then at the same time like doing my college classes. And during finals week, I was writing like final papers for my classes and then I also had to write essays for my college applications, and it was just so much on my plate at the same time. And I feel like that really affected the quality of my writing and my application. Like most of them I submitted last minute, and after I submitted, I wasn't fully happy with my application. So if you can start your application early and you know that you're going to apply to colleges this fall, start doing it like this summer. Make a spreadsheet, list out all your extracurricular activities, because that's kind of like the easier things to do in your application, and it'll be great to get that out of the way first. Like already know what you're putting in as your extracurriculars, and then you can really focus on your essays later on. And in your application, don't be afraid to like really package yourself and present to the college that you're a good candidate for their school. As much as colleges want well-rounded students, they also want to see like a theme, something that you're consistently passionate about. So in all your extracurricular activities, find something in common. Like if you're a STEM major, maybe your extracurricular activities circle that. Try to make your application feel as a whole. And if you're a freshman in high school, work on like building up your status in your extracurriculars. College love to see that you're consistent with something and like getting better at it. So for example, you can be like junior varsity your freshman year, and then varsity, and then team captain, something like that. They want to see the progression and see that you're working and bettering yourself throughout your years of high school. Don't be afraid to like brag a little bit, and when it's like the summer before you apply, like think of essay ideas, like just jot them down, write down a bunch of ideas that you have. I wrote like 4 or 5 different personal statements and then like chose which one I thought was best. It literally could be about anything. Think about like what story you can tell to really present yourself. That's everything I have for you. If I missed something, definitely like comment or DM me. I'm sorry, I know this is like a really information loaded video, and know that even though you don't have like crazy stats, you can still get into college. Thank you for watching. I really hope this helped you, and yeah, take care.